you'd have to agree with me that the coverage of this trial has been really weird. I mean, it's on every channel, wall-to-wall coverage, 24 hours a day, and yet it's all fluff. I mean, I believe that O.J. is a bad guy. He beat his wife, and the system didn't punish him for it. But did he really commit those murders? What kind of investigation has been going on? I think the reporters of this story have been pretty lazy, and that's why I sent our own Louis Theroux out to Los Angeles to find out what's going on and to shake those reporters up.
Meet Richard Johnson. Richard's an expert in psychological operations, or Psy-Op for short. For those who don't know, Psy-Op is a branch of the US Army which specializes in manipulating people. In Panama, when Manuel Noriega was holed up in the Vatican embassy and wouldn't come out, the US Army played loud rock music night and day until he finally surrendered. In Waco, Army Psy-Op inspired federal agents to blast Nancy Sinatra at David Koresh.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
In Iraq, during the Gulf War, Psy-Op dropped leaflets on Iraqi troops, urging them to surrender and threatening them. It seemed to me Psy-Op was the logical choice to get the media to report the real O.J. story. Richard introduced me to fellow vet Mike Morris. Mike teaches Psy-Op to new recruits. What are some of the techniques that Psy-Op can use to influence people?
Songs, music, symbols.
How do you choose which records or which noises and music you're going to play?
If the mission is we want to scare them, you're going to have to say, well, what would scare these people? In Vietnam, there were cases of sounds that I guess you would have to say were imitations of ghost or supernatural.
Could you give me some examples?
Ooh, 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 ooh.
So number one is do your research and make sure you know who you're trying to sell the message to.
That's correct. And not just know who they are, but what makes them tick.
I decided to scout the location, the LA County Courthouse. If I really wanted to get the press to leave and start investigating the real story, I had to know everything about them. I learned that twice a day the reporters get together for what they call gangbangs. This was when they swarmed around O.J.'s defense lawyers as they came in the morning. Johnny, how's the defense going? How's the trial going, Mr. Shapiro? And as they left in the evening. Did he do it, Mr. Cochran?
He's absolutely innocent. Absolutely, 100%, absolutely not guilty.
Are you sure, though? There was a gruesome kind of glamour to the proceedings.
And O.J. Simpson is an enormous celebrity.
What else?
He is the epitome of celebrityhood. He is it.
This is the kind of story that you like to be associated with.
Some people have suggested that it's too much, it's a circus.
Well, we don't seem to lack in viewers, and I guess that tells us something.
Once I infiltrated the press corps, I noticed that all they did was stand around waiting for the next soundbite. It was time for some sort of psycho-military deterrent. I briefed our Psy-Op expert, Richard, about what I'd seen. Of everything I told him, he seemed especially interested in the gangbangs. They're all together. They're very vulnerable. Could you do anything with that, do you think?
I can definitely do something with that.
Richard went into action. Operation Nancy Sinatra.
Are they doing anything? Standing around watching.
Just like in Waco, we blasted them with Nancy Sinatra. This way we could prevent them getting their daily soundbite for the evening news.
Hey, you've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'. And now someone else is...
Some of the reporters seemed a little annoyed, but no one bothered to find out what we were up to.
Boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
When I went back later, it was still business as usual. They were too far gone. But I guess it's been that way for a while. The media's failure to investigate Mark Furman is just the latest example.
So that anyone who comes to this court and quotes you as using that word in dealing with African Americans would be a liar, would they not, Detective Fuller?
Yes, they would.
All of them, correct?
All of them.
What about all the unanswered questions? The missing murder weapon? The gloves that didn't fit? The second set of footprints at the crime scene? There was still loads to do, but unless it was handed to them, these reporters weren't investigating anything. It was time to implement Plan B. Richard rounded up a crew of extras, taught them how to use walkie-talkies.
Channel we're starting out on? Start out on 1.
And after a few technical difficulties, he set to work.
Secure your automobiles. Put your windows up.
Operation, we've found the knife. Having carefully prepared a site near OJ's house, it was time to tip off the media.
Could you punch me through to your newsroom, please? Is this CNN? LA Times? And you can't miss this thing. We're only a couple blocks from OJ's house.
We figured that journalists were so lazy that all we had to do was offer them an easy scoop about OJ and they'd come in a flash. Success! First on the scene were the network choppers, surveying and verifying the tip from the air. And within minutes, the land-born OJ reporters had found their way to our Psy-Op crime scene. Describe what you see happening up there.
As I see him right now, there's at least 4 detectives or investigators. One of them, of course, is in fatigues.
CNN, the Associated Press, even the LA Times showed up. We had conquered our target. It was time for Richard to reveal the mission's true objective.
What has actually happened here is this, that over the extended amount of trial coverage that you people have been giving to this trial,
Where are you from?
you've sold something. You've sold your personal integrity. Now, go find the real story. Everybody in their cars,
Who do you represent?
we're out of here right now.
Honestly, a friend.
We didn't fall for it, okay?
Well, obviously, did or you wouldn't have stayed. Let's call it a psychological warfare experiment. Come on.
But while we had coaxed some OJ reporters out to the Psy-Op scene, would this have a lasting effect on the media? I debriefed our subjects.
He wasn't like an idiot or anything. He was cognizant of what was going on, and he was fairly, I mean, he seemed to be fairly intelligent, but then you don't know, he might be nuts.
A lot of people interested in this. It's, again, like I said, it's not just OJ on trial, it's justice on trial as well, as far as I'm concerned.
So even though it's a zoo, you don't mind contributing to it?
I think it's fun, actually.
But it's not supposed to be fun. 2 people are dead. And a potentially innocent man is on trial for a crime he may not have committed. It's time to get to work. Nah. On second thoughts, back at the courthouse there's a press briefing at 5. I can just swing by and pick up one of those press releases on the way to the gym. Maybe a juror's been dismissed. That'd be cool. Or maybe Marsha Clark's got a new hairdo.
Nanny, 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 and neener, neener.
You know, this is a great job.
And now we bring you the official TV Nation poll. 16% of all Americans believe that the world is out to get them. Of those, 46% are gun owners.